Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the sinister blade Katarina from League of Legends.
Yeah.
And we have some really cool excerpts about her origins and kind of her development into becoming Noxus's deadliest weapon.
Absolutely. And I think what's really interesting about Katarina is that she embodies so much of what Noxus is about.
Yeah.
It's a nation that's built on strength and ambition, and, power is the ultimate currency there.
Right. And you can totally see that, especially because she's like the daughter of General Dukuto.
Yeah.
Like, talk about pressure.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine?
I mean, failure is not an option.
No,
especially for somebody like her being, the daughter of such a prominent general.
Oh, yeah. And the excerpts even talk about how her training was just brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Just focused on making her like a perfect weapon.
Yeah, it was all about just honing her skills, to the absolute limit.
Pushing her
Yeah.
to be the best that
Yeah.
she could be.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they even talk about how she like experimented with potions
Oh, yeah.
to build up like resistance to poisons and toxins and
When
stuff.
they were preparing her for every possible scenario.
Right.
Right? It speaks to the mindset that's instilled in Noxians from a young age, always be prepared
Right.
to face any challenge, any obstacle.
But then we come to like her first mission and it doesn't go so well.
It doesn't go so well. Let's just say that.
This mission is a real turning point, I think, in her story.
Okay.
Because it really exposes the flaws in that kind of relentless pursuit of strength.
Right.
She's tasked with taking out this enemy officer, Demetrius, but she's driven by ambition. And she decides to go for a bigger target.
Which backfires terribly.
It backfires spectacularly.
Yeah, she almost gets her dad killed.
Almost gets her father killed, yeah.
Yeah.
Her actions have devastating consequences. They lead to a Noxian defeat and almost cost her father his life.
And it's a stark reminder that even in a culture that celebrates strength,
Yeah.
a single moment of arrogance can have catastrophic results.
So how does a society like Noxus that's like so obsessed with victory, how do they deal with like such a failure?
That's what's so fascinating, I think, is instead of crumbling under the weight of that mistake, she chooses to own it.
Wow.
She embarks on this quest for redemption,
Okay.
a journey that will ultimately transform her into the sinister blade that we know.
So this failure really kind of cuts to the core of who she is
Yeah.
and makes her confront all the beliefs that she was raised with.
Precisely. Yeah, we see her wrestling with, guilt and shame, grappling with the consequences of her ambition.
Wow.
And it's a far cry from the kind of confident, almost reckless young assassin we see at the beginning.
You can tell she's not just physically scarred, but like emotionally
All
too.
that, yeah.
From this whole thing. Like, and the excerpts talk about how she gets attacked by another assassin
Yeah.
that's sent by her own father.
Got her own father sent, yeah.
That's cold.
It really speaks volumes about the ruthlessness of Noxian culture, but also shows how deeply her actions have shaken her father.
Right.
He's essentially disavowing her,
Oh, wow.
forcing her to confront the possibility that she's become a liability.
She's not just fighting for her life. She's fighting for her dad's respect.
Yeah, for her place in Noxus.
Her place in Noxus, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this fight is so crucial because it shows like the kind of strength that she develops.
Exactly. It's not just about physical prowess anymore. It's about resilience. It's about the will to survive, even when the odds are stacked against you.
And she endures this brutal 6-hour battle before finally delivering Demetrius's head to her father.
Yeah,
You'd think that would be it.
right. You would think.
Mission accomplished, but
Not quite.
no.
She completes that original objective,
Okay.
but she also receives this permanent scar as punishment.
Oh, wow.
This constant reminder of the cost of her mistake.
It's like a physical manifestation
Yeah.
of like the consequences of her actions.
Yeah, it's not just a story about ambition and victory. It's about facing the harsh realities of failure
Right.
in a society that doesn't tolerate weakness.
And this is what forges her into something new.
Yeah.
Something even more formidable.
Yeah, this is where she begins to truly embrace the title of the Sinister Blade.
Okay, so we see her go from like this ambitious, kind of arrogant youth to like a hardened warrior bearing the scars of her past.
Right.
So what's next?
That's what we'll delve into next. We'll explore how this experience transforms her not just as an assassin, but as a person,
Right.
and what it means to become the Sinister Blade in the cutthroat world of Noxus.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we left off with Katarina at like a crossroads.
Yeah.
She's proven she's resilient, but like at a huge cost.
Right.
She's lost her dad's trust, and
Whoop.
she's got this like permanent reminder of her failure.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how does all this shape her going forward?
Well, this is where her story takes a really fascinating turn, I think. We see her really grappling with the fallout of her actions. You know, her
Wow.
father's favoring other assassins now,
Oh, wow.
which is a clear sign of her fall from grace, but she doesn't retreat.
Sure.
She doesn't kind of wallow in self-pity.
So that's pretty consistent with what we've seen of like Noxian culture.
Yeah.
No room for weakness.
Exactly. She embodies this idea of turning adversity into strength.
Yeah.
You know, she could have easily given up, accepted defeat, but she doesn't. She
Oh,
doubles down on her commitment to Noxus, even if it means proving herself in new ways.
And her weapon of choice becomes like embracing this persona of the Sinister Blade.
Yeah,
And it's interesting because it's not just a cool nickname.
right.
It represents like a whole shift in how she approaches everything.
It's like she's weaponizing her own reputation.
Yeah.
The excerpts even hint that she's embracing a more ruthless and chillingly efficient fighting style.
Well, yeah.
There's a sense that she shed any sort of lingering naivete
Yeah.
and replaced it with this cold, calculated precision.
I can see that.
Yeah,
It's like she realizes that in Noxus, like perception is just as powerful as any blade.
absolutely. If your enemies fear you, if they hesitate for even a moment,
Yeah.
that gives you the advantage.
Right.
It does.
So the Sinister Blade isn't just about like physical skill.
No, it's about psychological warfare.
Oh.
It's about instilling fear and uncertainty in your opponents,
Okay.
becoming like this phantom that haunts them.
And she does it with such grace, though.
She does.
Like the excerpts describe her movements as almost like dance-like.
Yes.
So fluid and beautiful, but deadly.
This duality, I think, is what makes her so compelling.
Yeah.
She embodies both the beauty and the brutality of Noxus,
Right.
the allure and the danger.
And it leaves us wondering, like, what are her goals now?
Exactly.
Because, like, the excerpts don't really say,
They don't.
is it revenge against, like, those who doubted her?
Right.
Is it just blind loyalty to Noxus?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something else, something more personal,
Right.
like proving her worth?
That ambiguity is key, I think, to understanding Katarina.
Yeah.
Because it keeps us guessing, it makes us question her motives, and ultimately makes her a more compelling and dangerous figure.
And speaking of dangerous, the excerpts touch upon the fact that even though she's embraced this, like, dark persona,
Yeah.
doesn't mean she's immune to the dangers of Noxian society.
No one is truly safe in Noxus.
Right.
Not even the Sinister Blade.
Not even her.
Her rise to prominence, you know, likely attracts new enemies, rivals who see her as a threat.
Right.
Even her own family could pose a danger to her.
So what does ultimate victory even look like for Katarina?
Right.
And at what cost?
That's the heart of her story, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's achieved this level of mastery, but the path she's chosen is fraught with peril.
Right.
Can she navigate this treacherous world of Noxian politics and intrigue without losing herself in the process?
So we've seen how Katarina's failure, like, transformed her into this incredible and formidable figure.
Yeah.
But, like, what does her future hold?
That's what we're going to explore next. We'll delve deeper into the implications of the Sinister Blade persona.
Right.
And we'll examine how Katarina's story really sheds light on the complexities of ambition, loyalty, and the price of power in Noxus.
Sounds good. Okay, so we've seen how Katarina's journey kind of reflects those core values of Noxus.
Right.
You know, strength, ambition, and that, like, pursuit of victory.
Yeah.
But it also shows that darker side. You know, that constant threat of betrayal and the weight of all those expectations and the price of power.
It's fascinating how her own individual struggle really mirrors those larger dynamics we see in Noxian society.
Yeah.
You know, there's this constant tension between individual ambition and what the Empire needs.
Yeah, it's like everyone is always kind of like vying for power, even within a system that demands loyalty.
Yeah.
Like, can you even have true loyalty
Right.
in an environment like that?
That's the question that Katarina's story really forces us to consider.
Yeah.
Her dedication to Noxus is undeniable, but it's also deeply personal. You know, it's shaped by her upbringing, her failures, and this desire to prove her worth,
Yeah.
not just to her father, and not just to the Empire, but to herself.
Right. And it makes you think about, like, what even motivates people in a place like Noxus?
Yeah.
Like, is it fear?
Right.
Ambition?
Is it a genuine belief in their ideals?
Yeah.
I think Katarina embodies that complexity.
Okay.
You know, she's a product of that Noxian culture, but she also kind of challenges its norms.
Right.
She doesn't just blindly follow orders.
Right.
She questions things, she makes mistakes, and she learns from them.
And that's what makes her so compelling.
Yeah.
Like, she's not just a mindless weapon.
Right.
She's a thinking, feeling person who's trying to find her place in a world that feels like at odds with her own value.
Exactly, and that sinister blade persona,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
becomes like a shield for her,
Right.
a way to protect herself, while also navigating this really treacherous world.
It's like she created this alter ego to survive in a world where vulnerability is weakness.
Right. And it raises a really interesting question. What happens to Katarina when she sheds that persona?
Yeah.
Can she ever truly reconcile that sinister blade with the woman she once was?
And that's something that the excerpts don't answer.
They don't.
It's like we get this glimpse into this really important moment in her journey,
Yeah.
but her ultimate fate is still a mystery.
Which is fitting, I think.
Yeah.
It leaves us with this unease, this lingering question of what it really means to embrace power in a society as ruthless as Noxus.
It's a reminder that even in victory, there can be a cost.
Yeah.
Katarina might have achieved this mastery, but like, what does she have to give up?
Right. What sacrifices did she make along the way?
Will she ever find peace? Or will she always be haunted
Yeah.
by the shadows that she's embraced?
Those are questions I think that are worth pondering.
Yeah.
Especially as we consider the larger implications of her story.
Right.
It's this cautionary tale about the allure of power, the complexities of loyalty, and the struggle to find meaning and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic and unforgiving.
So we went deep into Katarina's world,
Yeah.
explored her transformation from a promising young noble to the sinister blade.
It's a journey that leaves us with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of a deep dive like this.
I know, right?
It sparks curiosity,
Absolutely.
it challenges our assumptions,
Yeah.
and it invites us to consider those complexities of power and ambition and what it means to be human.
And as always, we encourage you to continue exploring.
Yeah.
Dive deeper into the lore, look at it from different perspectives, and come to your own conclusions about Katarina's journey.
Exactly, because even in the darkest corners,
Yeah.
even in a society as ruthless as Noxus,
Yeah.
there's always something new to discover, something that challenges our understanding and pushes us to think critically about the world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Katarina the Sinister Blade.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration.
We will.
So stay curious and keep diving deep.